Time now to introduce you to another inductee into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame from the football program. That is Mariusz Misiec. Congratulations, Mariusz. What a great honor.
Thank you. It is. Just overwhelmed to be here. Thank you.
You were born in Poland.
Yes.
Now, how old were you before you moved to the States?
About 7. So, yeah, off the boat, up and down the East Coast, and finally ended up in central Pennsylvania. So,
Finally in central Pennsylvania. But before that, I think you moved to Gainesville, Florida. Was that where you started your love for football?
that's where I started my love for sports in general. Actually, let me pull that back. Started out with the Mets and the Giants, their success years when I came over to America. Then I just happened to walk into the backyard of the University of Florida, and when they were winning tons and tons of things, tons of great players, and I ended up being on campus for a lot of that. So it was just really great to be a teenager in that environment. So,
was there something about American football that just drew you even more than baseball or any other sport?
No, it was everything, but it was just something that it was a really good fit for me. And it encompassed a lot of the other things I loved doing with the other sports. And the best thing for football for me was I was very useful for everybody else at it. So that was my job.
Now, were you recruited by Coach Gadd?
I was not. Coach Mariusz before was my recruiter. Visited me in my house in Gainesville. That was kind of unheard of for that level and for people to come down to Florida to do that. But he had family in Florida, so it just happened to coincide. Bucknell was an easy yes for me. I actually had visits lined up to other Patriot League schools after my visit here. Had to cancel them. Had some colorful languages from some of the other coaches, but just solidified my faith in making the right decision to be here. So.
Oh, definitely made the right decision. 3-time All-Patriot League. Could you have ever seen yourself get that kind of accolades, but also that kind of recognition?
Yes and no. I knew I could play here, and I knew I was surrounded by enough guys that could make me good. And I just wanted to get on the field. So I didn't know if I was going to get the accolades, but I knew I could get on the field with these guys. And I felt very welcome from my visit to my first camp to all the time that I spent here through my summers and my vacation breaks and everything else. So yeah, as long as I thought I could get on the field, maybe I had a chance of those things. And it was so much fun that it just kept on growing and snowballing on itself. So.
I don't know how much, when you played, you all had heard of the success of Coach Odell and the 1960s teams, but you all arguably had as much, if not more, success with these teams under Coach Gadd, particularly, winning a Patriot League title in '96, going the next year 10-1. What did that mean to the program, to the university, to be able to bring back that kind of glory?
I can tell you at the time it was very hard to relate to how good those teams had been because it was very new to a lot of us. Some of us came from really good programs, some of us did not, but we had just gelled at the right time, and we were just kind of living in the moment. So it was win after win, but we weren't counting those wins. We were literally playing from game to game for the next one, and maybe afterwards we kind of soaked it in a little bit, but I can't imagine that we thought we were anywhere near as good as those guys that came before us. It was just nice to throw some numbers to maybe get some of the same comparison or attention, but it's hard to think that you're on the same level with some of those guys. So.
But you all set some records there in terms of winning the only up to this point Patriot League title. You blocked for Richie Lemon. What was it about him that made it easy to block for him?
Richie made it fun. I can tell you that early on, I didn't have to be good to look good around Richie. And even with the older guys in front of me, I remember Brian Gay being out there a starter. And on one play, seeing Richie Lemon run between him and the guy he was blocking as they were locked out. So I imagine if Brian could pull that off, maybe I could get on the field and do that. And it was just fun being around that because as long as you just kept on trying to do your job, people like that around you, you could make it work. And he made us look good. Other times we made him look good, but it was just fun. So.
Just fun, and winning has to be fun. There were still pictures of you guys on the field at Christie, the natural grass field at that time, obviously, with that big victory. Guys with cigars in their mouth. Coach Gadd, he brought a winning attitude, didn't he?
He did. And we had to learn how to win from him and how to handle it because that can go south really quickly. Again, something I saw probably from the Gainesville years. So he kept us in line. He kept us humble. He knew when we were stepping out of line and what we needed to be doing to keep ourselves in check and focused on the next step. And then we matured into that. And it was just the right guys at the right place to be able to handle all that.
Before we let you go here, Mariusz, have to ask you what you're doing now. Are you still involved in some capacity in football?
No, I am full-time involved with my kids. Outside my work is just 9 and 10-year-olds, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. We're transitioning over the next couple months here for whatever sport they're doing. And we're joking outside. It takes me about an hour or two just to warm up to their speed at this stage. And they're great athletes, so it's going to keep me back on my toes. But no, right now I'm learning more about baseball than I ever did when I was a kid, and trying to keep up with them. Same thing with gymnastics and the next thing around the corner. So it's great being a fan again of sports through my kids' eyes, with some of the experience that I got here and the perception of how to get my kids ready for the next steps for them. So you still keep on learning even when you get out of here, and then try to pass that on to the next guys.
Amen. Well, Mariusz, congratulations. What a great honor to be inducted into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Mariusz Misiec, our next inductee into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame.